Good morning, distinguished guests, graduates, family and friends. Welcome to Bond University's graduation. Please take time to note the nearest fire exit to you. They are located in each corner of the theatre. In the unlikely event of an emergency, please follow the directions of university staff. As today is a very special occasion for each of the graduates, please turn your devices to silent and remain seated for the duration of the ceremony. A live stream of this ceremony is also available from the Bond University graduation website and Bond University YouTube channel. Graduates, I will now take you through the ceremony protocols for the presentation of awards. When directed by staff, please proceed in your order of seating and line up along the stairs to my right. When your name is announced, proceed to the table at my left to be handed your testamen. Once you've got your testamen, proceed across to the media banner to have your photo taken with the Chancellor. And once your photo has been taken, proceed up the middle aisle to my left, around the rear of the theatre, and university staff will direct you back to your seat. The formal proceedings will commence shortly, but first, please enjoy a short presentation celebrating 30 years of Bond University.
Today, as of this moment, vision has become reality. The way is now ahead. From sandstone and a strong, unwavering vision, an institution was built to offer a student experience without peer. A university created to redefine the landscape, setting new heights for global education. In our first 30 years, almost 30,000 alumni have passed through our doors.
With all our graduates, please stand. Be successful, have great careers, and never forget Bond University.
With an unbreakable bond to the international networks and experiences that position them for success. Together, we have built a legacy. A legacy that continues to evolve today.
Bond University will take its place among the great universities.
As we strive for and reach new horizons in personalized learning, we continue to deliver a truly remarkable global student experience.
To my fellow graduates, thank you for your friendship. Please cherish the memories and friends, but continue making new ones. Goodbye and good luck.
Since 1989, Bond University has forged the way in law, business, society and design, health sciences and medicine, and sport. Led by great minds.
Bond University will become a magnificent jewel in the crown of Australian tertiary education.
With an even greater vision for the next 30 years and beyond. It's because of those who came before us that our future is limitless.
Will everyone please stand for the academic procession?
Please be seated. Chancellor, graduates, family and friends of the graduates, university colleagues, welcome to this graduation celebration for students who have recently completed their studies at Bond University. Please join with me in thanking our Piper Bond alumnus, Pipe Major Nick Tompkins. On behalf of the university community and behalf of each of us, I acknowledge the people of the Yugambeh language group on whose ancestral lands our university now stands. I pay my respects to their leaders, past, present and emerging, and I do so in a spirit of reconciliation. Here at the university, we acknowledge that graduation is a liminal event in the life of a student, and as a result, we are delighted that we are able to offer each graduate that is able to attend and their family and friends the opportunity to participate in this ceremony that publicly marks the significant milestone of graduation. Notwithstanding that the COVID rules change almost daily, we at the university are pleased to see that so many of you are able to be present today. Each graduate today will be presented to the Chancellor and have their photograph taken with her. Ladies and gentlemen, this room in which we are gathered is the university's largest lecture theatre. It was named the Basil Sellers Theatre in honour and recognition of Ballas Sellers, AM, a major philanthropist, who has had a successful business career as well as being an accomplished sportsman. Dr. Sellers is a significant benefactor of many organisations both in Australia and abroad. It is now my great honour to introduce the university's 8th Chancellor who will preside at this ceremony, the Honourable Dr. Annabelle Bennett, ACSC FAA.
Hello everyone. I stand up on this thing so I can see over the lectern and get a chance to see you all. I wish it was a little bit higher. I think I need even more. I'm sort of feeling down there. Graduates. Well, it's only right and proper that they be acknowledged first. Bond colleagues and ladies and gentlemen. And in particular, I'd like to welcome Sahel and Anna Bedian, who, as many of you would know, are also outstanding contributors and supporters of Bond University. And for those parents who are here who will find this ceremony perhaps a little long, or some of the children who may be here who will find it a little long, I want you to know that Sahel and Anne come to virtually every graduation ceremony for the Faculty of Society and Design. So just bear that thought in mind if you think that there is a moment where you'd like to leave. Having said that, if there are any children here, please do not feel that they should be taken outside if they make a noise. As far as we're concerned, this is a marketing exercise to those children. We want them to remember this fondly and to make sure they come to Bond in due course. Well, how good is this? Seriously. It's a graduation ceremony. Bond is the only university to hold any last year. We have gone throughout a lot of work to make sure that those of you who wish to have a formal graduation ceremony get to have it. And it takes an enormous amount of work from everybody, not to mention the safety of the community. Because graduations are always very, very special events. They're special for everybody, for the graduates, for their partners, family and friends, and for all of those who supported them during their studies here at Bond. So I'm really glad that we're all able to be together for this ceremony, because it's one that you do remember. And I hope you remember it as well as you remember and as fondly as you remember all of your time at Bond. Well, it's trite but true to say we live in interesting times, and of course they're ever-changing times. So as Chancellor, I'm incredibly proud of what I think could be described as the iron determination of our Vice-Chancellor to hold these graduation ceremonies. And he won out, even today, overcoming, to date, probably the most unpredictable pandemic for a long time with COVID. To all of the university staff who've worked long and tirelessly to hold these graduation ceremonies to honour our recent graduates in a formal and public manner, on behalf of the graduands and their families, thank you. This is the third graduation season that the university's held, where we've been able to hold cohort-based graduation ceremonies in person. We're live streaming today's ceremony, and I'm aware that we have a number of fellow graduates watching from various overseas and interstate locations. So in good Zoom fashion, hi everyone, wherever you are, stay on mute. COVID has impacted on almost every aspect of our lives, and further its impact both in a health and economic sense is set to continue for several years ahead. It's not helpful to know that you're living at a remarkable point in history, but it's a great jumping off point for you because the opportunities, it's up to you to generate the opportunities and to use your education to take those forward. Well, we're here at Bond. Now, I was not fortunate enough to be a student at Bond. I know you're surprised to hear that I'm a little older than that. But what I do notice since I've become associated with it, wherever I go, as soon as I mention Bond University, everyone who has had any association with the university smiles. It's just a joy to have been here, and it's a joy to be here. And I hope the rest of you in this room feel that joy, and you've heard about it from your families and members and your friends who are graduating and who've been students here. And why is that? It's because Bond focuses on the students. To say it's a student-centred mission is sort of a nice way of saying it, but it doesn't get across what Bond is about. When I first met the Vice-Chancellor, I think he was sort of interviewing me to see if I was going to be acceptable. And so I said to him, well, tell me a bit about the focus at Bond. He said, well, there are three major focuses we have. The first focus is the students. The second focus is the students. And the third focus, see if you've been educated, is the students, exactly. And that's true. And it's true for him, it's true for the staff, it's true for everybody. And that's why we're so proud to see you here today. These are the unique elements that are embedded in the very DNA of Bond and the superb student experience that's on offer, and that inviolate rule that the interests of the students are paramount. At the conclusion of this ceremony, Bond will have had over 30,000 alumni. Just imagine that. 32 years, and there are more than 30,000 Bondies all over the planet. There's always a Bondie doing something good somewhere at any given minute. And so this is your opportunity to join that Bond alumni network and perhaps help someone else out and do some good yourselves. I know you all will. So if you're going to allow me to just a moment, I'm going to share some data with you. Our graduates range in age from 19 to 80 years of age. There are 15 Indigenous graduates as part of the graduating cohort. The top 5 countries of birth for graduates are Australia, China, Canada, Japan and India. There are 22 graduands graduating with a unique country of origin. The most popular programs for the cohort for this graduation season are the Graduate Diploma in Legal Practice, Bachelor of Laws, Bachelor of Biomedical Science, Juris Doctor and Master of Construction Practice Professional. So if you're part of the majority cohort, you can be very proud, and if you're not a part of the majority cohort, you're unique. So it's a win-win. But if you think the numbers are small, recall that one of our most cherished differentiating factors is our small class sizes and our relatively small student cohorts, especially when you compare with the behemoth of public universities. And that has helped us to continue through this time. So following the ceremony today, please visit the Alumni Centre on your way to Don's Tavern to receive a graduation gift from the merchandise store and to grab a photo in the Alumni Centre, which is worth seeing, and we hope you'll come back to it often. Graduates, you should be immensely proud of your achievements, but you should also recognise they couldn't have been possible without support, not only in today's ceremony, but generally. So a Bond degree, I know you're going to find this news to you, requires considerable investment, as we are a self-funded non-profit institution. So I would like to thank the many family, supporters and benefactors that have provided financial assistance to enable the graduates to study at Bond. We appreciate it, they appreciate it, and I hope that you all feel that it's been very well worthwhile. So while today is a day to celebrate, it's also an opportunity to reflect and say thank you to those who've supported you. Now, the Vice-Chancellor used to have a way of dealing with this. He'd say, do you know something? You know those devices that are all turned off on silent at the moment? Those things that are almost attached to your hand? They've got other functions, right? They work not only for messaging and for social media, they have a telephone function. So if there's somebody that you can think of that would want to hear from you today, don't message them. Don't just send it out on Instagram. Ring them. Ring them. If they can't be here with you today, ring them and say thank you, because it really will mean a lot to them. and today is the day to do it. Well, you each have a copy of the program where you can follow the list of graduates, and I hope you enjoy the ceremony and that you respect and acknowledge each and every one of our graduates, not just your own, because they are a cohort and that's what they are, and take away your very special moment. So, to the parents, the proud parents, other family members and friends of the graduates, I share your pride, because although I wasn't at Bond myself, I've had a daughter go to Bond, and it changed her life. It changed her life, and she's come through, and she's a great success. Not come through. It makes it sound like she came from a bad start, but she's actually a great success, and a lot of that is because of Bond. In fact, it was instrumental in where she is today. But I sat in the when I watched her graduation, I sat there and I had this terrible feeling. You know those moments in the weddings, especially when they televise them and they say, if anyone knows any reason why this couple should not be joined together. And I was always terrified that just before my daughter went up, someone was going to say, not that one. So hold your breath, because you have until they actually pass across the stage and receive their diploma, it might happen. So there's always a bit of suspense in it. So as Chancellor of this great university, I have many tasks to perform, but nothing is as enjoyable as a graduation ceremony. I used to say that I always like it, and you can watch with me as they walk across. It's almost as if as they walk up, when you were little, I don't know if any of you remember, but once upon a time you used to put little buttercups under your chin and they'd glow. The idea. So I always felt that every graduand, or new graduate, as they're walking across the stage, it looks like they've got a little glowworm underneath their chin, giving them that wonderful beaming sense of pride and satisfaction. Although each graduate has been formally conferred with their degrees in absentia, I will now, for the purposes of the ceremony, formally admit each graduate in persona. And you will notice one thing. I'm going to read it, and it's quite topical at the moment. I'm going to read it. Why? Because Chief Justice Roberts, I don't know if anyone remember, when Chief Justice Roberts, he was Chief Justice of the United States, and of course, being a lawyer, you think you can remember a couple of sentences, that you should be able to remember 2 sentences and say them. And when he swore in President Obama, he got a word wrong. He misstated it, and then there was a whole question about whether under the Constitution of the United States, President Obama had properly been sworn in as president, so they had to repeat it in a back room afterwards with him reading it to make sure he got it right. And I noticed that with President Biden, he read it. So, graduates, please stand. Up, so I can do this formally. With the authority of council, I hereby admit you to the awards for which you've qualified. I also admit those who've qualified for their degrees who are unable to be present today. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the moment of graduation. They can't take it away now. Please join with me in congratulating the most recent graduates of Bond University. So we'll now move to the formal presentation of testamers, and I look forward to the presentation of each and every graduate.
Good morning. Before I formally present the graduates, I'd like to remind us all of the procedure that will follow compliant with COVID-safe protocols. Graduates, I'm sure as you walk across the stage and you walk towards the Chancellor, you may want to shake the Chancellor's hand as we would normally do. Please don't. It's very important that we do maintain that appropriate physical distancing. So thank you for your attention. And audience members, please remain in your seat throughout the entire ceremony. Thank you. Chancellor, the following candidates are presented for the award of Research Doctorate. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, with a thesis entitled The Descent of Evolutionary Debunking, and before each of these graduates who are receiving a PhD, I'll read a brief summary of the work that they've completed over the past 3 or 4 years. The evolutionary debunking argument has become a popular meta-ethical challenge against the ultimate foundations of moral belief that grew from the consideration of the role that evolution played in the development of human morality. Though an important number of innovations have come from this consideration, both in philosophy and in science, the attempt to integrate evolutionary facts into the meta-ethical debate between realists and anti-realists is deeply problematic and inconclusive. In the end, insofar as moral reasons constitute an independent domain of inquiry, it is doubtful that evolutionary considerations alone can lead to the rather serious conclusion that morality is a myth, a useful fiction, and so on, that has arisen in recent literature alone. Instead, we should look to how our moral discourse can be enhanced by a more open study of our evolved natures and moral capacities, and what this means for the conception of the good life. Oscar Alexander Ray Davis. For a thesis title, Australian Arsonists, a Typology, Offending and Sentencing Trends and Theoretical Adjustments for an Indigenous Cultural Context. And the description, this research comprised 3 studies. The first was the first empirical exploration of the characteristics of Australian Indigenous fire setters and investigated differences between the motivations and offence features of Aboriginal and non-Indigenous arsonists. The second reviewed over 300 sentencing transcripts from all Australian jurisdictions between 1990 and 2015 to identify trends in the features of arson offending. A typology of Australian arsonists was also developed based on this national sample. Finally, the final study explored judicial sentencing considerations over a 25-year period in identifying aggravating and mitigating factors from historical arson transcripts. These were compared to the considerations of current members of the Australian judiciary when sentencing arsonists. The programme of research extended arson theory with specific reference to Indigenous arsonists, provided an analysis of arson offending in Australia over 25 years, pointing to an offender typology, projected future trends in arson, and explored the sentencing considerations of courts in this country. Implications for theory, for clinical practice, and for court systems were also presented. Therese Ellis Smith. For the thesis titled Film as Argument, Mainstream Feature Filmmaking as the Social Practice of Incognizant Argument, Design and Delivery, with the description, the thesis defends an account of mainstream narrative feature filmmaking as a social practice defined in terms of its ends. It takes a critical hermeneutic approach to demonstrate that the tradition and current practice of making mainstream narrative feature films is fundamentally the practice of designing and delivering edifying arguments, to move the audience to a worthwhile conclusion in a worthwhile way. Darren Paul Fisher. Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Society and Design. Madison Kate Bunton. Ho Ching Phoebe Ting. Philip John Nicholas Darnton. Bowen Zhang. Sachelle Madeline Aitken. Gillian Frances Bota. Terry Sharon Gay Gallivan. Diana Caitlin Moss. Tess Sanjar Bash. Isabella Alice Whittingham. Robert John Dalisier. Maud Al-Sadi. Ellen Elizabeth Flood. Cameron Cyrus Daniel Granfar. Dharmendra Prasad Mohan. Brough Gary Wibley. Henry Cortez Guerrero. Brenna Eileen Hogan. Jackie Young. Tatiana Marie Carter. Kaya Rose Hearn. Yang Fang. Rafael Ferreira Leao Sato. Yu Shan Zhang. Yuting Li. Kamesh Warren Maru Khan. Shui Ao. Manishayam Panchariya. Ting Ting Yao. Marianne Joseph. Martha Leticia Andrade Almodovar. Siyu Ting Chan. Bibi Hogo Sedenio. Jae Hong. Jaswant Kara. Shea Juan Kay. Anurag Nepal. Tui Mintu Nguyen. Rui Aoyang. Aditya Prajapati. Akash Malikarjun Santoji. Bing Hong Song. Sien Sien Sun. Kwe Kien Tran. Chin Enyo. Po Wa Yong. Meng Chen Yu. Chi Jiang. Nanfeng Zhou. Mariana Pepe. Alex Wine. Bree Alice Estrada. Evangeline Lily Hale. Tiffany Lynn. Belinda Ann McGaw. Ryan William Mackenzie. Tracy Newton. Rochelle Ong Kwa Pranadi. Lucas Charles Pritchard. Luciana Romano. Shaista Saheed. Casper Adam Frederick Wen. Holly Elizabeth Lorraine Woodhouse. Pranita Pradeep Jakete. Kui Chen Yu. Arun Raj Laxmi Mala. Mohan Maheswaram. Vipin Xavier Nagotu. Sivaji Netem. Monish Kumar Sunkara. Anusha Ravi. Daniel Patrick McCarthy. Joel William Andrew Petty. Dennis Yu. Christopher Chaplin. And finally, Hui Wang. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates. So, well, graduates, congratulations, you've done it. There's no doubt graduating from a university programme is hard. Graduating from a university that adopts an accelerated approach to learning with little downtime is even more difficult and even more of an achievement. And graduating in the midst of a global pandemic and coping with the disruption to life inside academia and out is incredibly impressive. You should be proud. We, the faculty of Bond University, your parents, friends and supporters certainly are of you. So again, well done. As some of you may know, I'm a professor of psychology, and as such, I've got a great interest in how human beings form memories. An aspect of memory that humans often struggle with is anchoring a memory trace of a particular event to a particular time and to a particular place. An exception to this rule is when we experience or live through something truly remarkable and or significant, dare I say, like a global pandemic. I predict that in decades to come, just after the start of a new year, you may find yourself sitting reading of the COVID-19 pandemic. When you do, many things may come to mind, but everyone graduating here today will share a tangible connection, a real shared memory. The connection is, of course, that when you're reminded of the pandemic, this day, this event, this celebration with friends and family, this graduation will come to mind, and I hope it will evoke many happy memories for years to come. The significance of a connection and shared experience is perhaps more evident and more important than ever before, I would argue. You were a student in, and now an alumni of, the Faculty of Society and Design or the Bond University College. And as you know, our faculty is an eclectic mix of disciplines. We cover the humanities, the social sciences, communications, right through to the built environment and architecture. What all these disciplines have in common, what brings them together, is people. It's us. How we think and act, how we organise ourselves in groups, how we fit into society, how we live, the way we live, the buildings and the cities that we live in, and how we coexist. In truth, our faculty speaks to how each of our lives are intrinsically connected and linked. Indeed, it could be argued that this very connectedness has led to the COVID-19 becoming a true pandemic. It's how it's spread across the world. I mean, everyone in this theatre will appreciate the truly global nature of the crisis that the world is facing. The extent of the pandemic's reach is a true reminder that no matter how unique we think we are as individuals, when governments responded to the spread of the virus, what most did was try to isolate it. Physical distancing was introduced. So what did we do during these lockdowns? Well, we found ways to reach out to one another, to connect. Large parts of the developed world took to Zoom, to Skype, or a myriad other forms of electronic communications, all because we sought ways to be connected with each other. As you go out into the world, commencing the next part of your lives, you'll find your way, you'll find your role, or perhaps, it's probable in today's world, that you'll find your roles, plural. Armed with a little luck and hard effort, you will achieve many wonderful things. You have demonstrated already you have an incredible capacity to achieve. It's why we're here today. In your time with us at Bond, each of you has developed an impressive array of skills, knowledge and attributes that will stand you in exceptionally good stead as you embark on your journey. Of course, each of these journeys will be different. They'll be unique to you, reflecting the opportunities and challenges faced by you and you alone. But what they'll have in common is that the contribution that you make, the difference that you invoke, will be important not to you, but to those people around you. Remember, we're all connected. The opinions you form, the values you hold dear, all will affect your behaviour and the decisions and choices you make, and they will impact on others just as much as their choices and their behaviour will affect you. Some of these impacts and consequences will be immediately obvious. Others will take time to emerge, but emerge they will. Please keep this in mind. Remember, we are connected, and what each of us does will affect those around us. Your successes, and there will be many, will be down to you. Of course they will. But they'll also reflect on those who are around you, those who supported and those who loved you. Take, for example, the achievement we marked today. There is no doubt your performance at Bond was down to you, to your hard work, to your dedication, to your ability, but others will have helped you on your way. All of you will have benefited from the incredible staff we have across the university. Many of you will have benefited significantly from mentoring by supporters in industry, and some of you will have benefited from general financial support by way of scholarship. And indeed, a good number of the students graduating today and this afternoon were recipients of the generous support of the Obedience Foundation. And again, Sahel and Anne, thank you very much for coming along today. Thank you for the gift of education. It's wonderful. It really has an effect on our students' lives. Finally, many of you have the loving support of families and friends, and it's wonderful to see that so many of these loved ones are here in the audience today. To all the supporters of our students, those in the audience, those around the country and beyond unable to be here, thank you for sharing this day, and thank you for the support you provide your loved ones throughout their studies. The point I've made this morning is that we are connected, People support us, and where we can, we support others. We impact on others, and others will impact on us. So please, graduates, remember this when you make your decisions, when you act, and when you give back. And wherever your journey takes you, remember you have benefited from the gift of education. So regularly reflect on this and do look for ways throughout your life to give back. Your journey is important. Indeed, your generation's contribution to this planet that we all share is hugely important. The choices you make, the paths you take, they will all be crucial. My staff, having worked with you during your time with us, we watched you grow, we supported you, we taught you, and indeed we learned from you. To you all, we're delighted that your next chapter is about to begin. We know what you're capable of, and consequently we can easily imagine what you will achieve. Enjoy the journey, make an impact, and stay connected with one another and with your university. As our students say, once a Bondi, always a Bondi. Once again, many, many congratulations. You did wonderfully well. No one tripped going across the stage. Please enjoy the rest of your day. Well done again. Thank you. One of the wonderful things that the Executive Dean gets to do at Bond University is at the end of each graduation ceremony, I read a charge to the students, and I'm just about to do that. So graduates, if you could please stand. Now, like everything else we do at Bond University, this is an interactive part of today's show. Okay, so I will read out the charge to you, and the answer is yes. But I don't want you to say the word yes. We want you to lift the roof of this. There are a number of graduations going on this week, and we want this to be the loudest and largest response from any group of students. So please remember that. So, graduates, I charge you as graduates of Bond University, demonstrate at all times the highest moral and ethical standards, to apply your learnings and education to the benefit of society, to pursue the highest standards in all your endeavours with excellence always your aim, and to support forever and enhance the reputation of your university through engagement as proud alumni. Graduates, do you accept this charge? Yes. That was not bad. You may now be seated. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that now concludes the formal part of the ceremony. Shortly, the official party, the academics and the graduates will process out of the theatre. Please remain in your seats until the procession has left this theatre entirely, and please do come across to Don's Tavern for post-ceremony refreshments. We will very much look forward to meeting you all there. Once again, thank you and congratulations. Graduates, please stand for the exiting ceremony. Thank you.